Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's album review. Today, we're going to be reviewing something we haven't reviewed before. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Dynazty. Dynazty. I'm not sure. Dynazty. Don't know how to pronounce this group, which is a bad start, but let's hope we like the album. So I'll share the screen to show you. Well, before I actually do that, let me read something here. So this person wants to remain anonymous, but what he does say is that the reason this person has chosen this album is saying that when it comes to the final Advent, which is the name of the album, I think it's a great metal album to introduce to people who are not fans of metal. So I found that quite intriguing. I thought, okay, well, let's listen to this one because it's kind of us. We have sampled with metal before and some elements we've liked of it. So hopefully this could be quite interesting. So I'll share the screen and show you the Wikipedia page. It doesn't have information about the album, so we're just going to find a little bit out about the band. So Dynazty are a Swedish power metal band from Stockholm. Yeah, I don't know, what can we say? The album we're going to be listening to, I think, is here. In July 2021, Dynazty entered the studio to begin recording their 8th studio album, Final Advent. So yeah, it's a newish album. The album was released in August of last year, but there's no information about the album here on Wikipedia. So we're going to have to look at it on Spotify. So it's power metal. So before we look at the album, the songs, there's a list of songs. I think we've done power metal before, and I think there was one we quite liked. Remember we did an album review of, I can't remember the name of them, but they were like focused on kind of like war songs.
Oh, right, yeah, was that power metal? Yeah, Sabaton.
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 That was it. I'm pretty sure they were power metal, and that
Okay.
was pretty good. So if this is anything like that, it might be all right, because I think in the past I've got put off by the word like metal. Anything like metal, no. But actually, it can be all right. So, can you see the Spotify my Spotify page?
Yes, we can, yeah.
So it's a short album, which is good. Only 10 songs, 41 minutes, 47 seconds. So yeah, not too much to say on that, really, I suppose. All the songs are, kind of standard mid-length songs. Track 9 is a little bit longer. Because I find sometimes with metal music, maybe not so much power metal, but some of the other stuff, like some of the kind of more, like, I can't remember what you call it, like orchestra metal, they can be like really, really long songs. It looks like with this, it's just, just get straight into it, no messing around, not too long. So obviously I don't want to get my hopes up too much. It's a genre of music I'm not particularly familiar with. I've never really, liked, metal in general. But hopefully, like the comment says, this could be good for people like us that aren't really into metal. So hopefully it won't be anything too intense. Hopefully there'll be no growling. And it might surprise us. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, exactly the same things you've said there. So we're going to get think too much into it. We'll get hopes up, all that and stuff. Yeah, good in for the album, size of the tracks. I think pretty much everything that you said there. So yeah, it'd be interesting just to get into it and see what comes out of it.
Okay, well, we're going to head off and listen to it, and we will let you know what we thought of it. So see you guys in just a moment. Okay, everybody, so we've now listened to the album. So let's How do we normally do this? I've forgotten. I think we go over to you first, Brett. I think you've
Yeah,
got
let's not
four.
break a habit of a lifetime. Will come straight to me. I've got one word here written down: power! Exclamation mark. This, just the word power. That's all I can really say with this one. So, I'm not overall feel about the album. I definitely feel a bit more. Sounds bad. But I do feel positive about the album. I did enjoy it in parts, but at the same time, I wouldn't rush back to go and listen to it again. And I said it's not generally before it's going to be our sort of cup of tea. I totally get the comment in terms of this being like an introduction to metal. That I do totally get. And I said we've done Sabaton before, and obviously I've done a bit of comparison to them, and obviously I saw the similarities with there. I still felt for some reason I preferred Sabaton, maybe because there was that sort of, it was a concept album, wasn't it? It had that sort of bit of meaning to the songs, while this it was quite the same, and not quite sure what to sort of get out from the songs. And there was a couple of variety, and there was a couple of songs which were slightly a bit different. And overall, I said they were kind of listenable, but I say it just wasn't overall like the best thing to sort of listen to. I have put Smiley Face Kempton next to them. I think it was all okay. And like I said, it might be better as we go through some of the songs. So I said, not the worst thing in the world, but I said it wasn't too bad. But I said, wouldn't rush this. I think the best way to say it, if I had one or two of these songs on a playlist, I'll enjoy listening to it. Something a bit different there. But as a whole album, like some of the stuff's done, I think it's just a bit too much, a bit too same in those regards.
Yeah, well, I think you've pretty much said everything that I was going to say, to be honest. Pretty much word for word. Because, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Wasn't the worst thing to ever listen to. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'll just try to think of other things I could say then. So I think, as we've talked about this before in previous metal reactions or album reviews we've done, just that word heavy metal always used to give me like, well, not going to like that. I guess my association with heavy metal is this sort of very loud and lots of growling. So with this, it wasn't really like that. It was certainly no growling. So this, I now realise there's a lot of subgenres when it comes to heavy metal, with power metal being one of them. So I think, like, I should imagine power metal is probably one of my favourite metal genres, I would have thought. Following on from Sabaton, and now this, at least it's bearable, it's listenable. There were elements that I also thought weren't bad, but I just thought by the end of it, it was just a little bit too much. It was very, as you say, a lot of power. It's just very, very powerful. Not powerful in the sense of song meaning, just literally powerful, and I found it a little bit too much. But like you, I also, understand the comment, and I think, this could be it's understandable why this could be a good introduction to heavy metal. So let's go through it now. 1 second, I can hear a bit of an echo. See if that changes anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I can still hear an echo, and I'll just put the volume down a tad. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, so still some kind of strange sound there. Let me just try something here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just try it like this. So, let's go for the first song. First one is Power of Will. So it's kind of what I was expecting from the album. Not bad to listen to. Probably had more of a background tune than I expected. obviously other than the heavy instrumentals that were present. And I thought it was a relatively promising start. What about you?
Yeah, I've put it like the start actually sounded a bit like sort of dance and trance sort of music. It felt like really sort of intense. I thought, oh well, actually, maybe this is going to be beyond Sabaton. Actually, this could be a struggle. This album, but then it got past that. And I think with a lot of the tracks, they have a sort of a certain style which doesn't really follow through. And it became more like you're sort of, again, referring to like Sabaton, the sort of power metal kind of thing. So as you said before, the singing is not growling, it's very audible, it's very listenable. It's got a really good voice as well. And I think that's what's nice about sort of power metal. You get to appreciate and hear that as well. I just thought maybe this song needed to be just that little bit slower. It just felt very loud and proud and just sort of a lot going on too quickly. But I said otherwise, yeah, I think it pretty sums up what we're going to be sort of listening to as well. And then just for here at the end, sort of the last minute, like the sound of different voices, effects, start to slow down a little bit. And again, we've had that sort of dance sort of 80s vibe to it as well.
Okay, so the second track then was Advent. I thought this one felt quite different to the first song. Wasn't so keen on the singing style of this particular song. I thought the previous song had a slightly more pop voice to it when he was singing. This felt a little bit more hardcore, but could be worse. Not the worst song I've ever listened to.
Yeah, I haven't got much more to add on that one there. I didn't put much more. I thought the voice was still good here. There, the big difference was that it was almost like he was more talking rather than singing. I just put here, this song was definitely slower than track one, which I think that's what I've kind of preferred from there. And I kind of prefer, if only this song will sort of take the good bits of this song from the previous song, it'll probably have a good thing, which then will bring us nicely onto, I think, track number 3.
Track 3 was Natural Born Killer. I thought this has a better beat, or background beat going on than the previous song, and I prefer the singing style of this one as well. I actually found this one a bit head boppy, which is strange perhaps for this genre of music. Gets a bit too overexcited at times during the song for me, but considering the genre, all in all, wasn't bad.
Yeah, so I pretty much got exactly the same points I made for the previous track, and as I was saying, it'd be good to have a song that was mixed in number 1 and number 2 together, and this is what we got with track number 3. It was just a good blend of those two. It wasn't as fast as the first one, so saying they said a little bit sort of head boppy as well. Still has that sort of 80s vibe to it as well, and then really nice sort of bit sort of the electric guitar as well, which would probably be a bit too overpowering, but it wasn't. It felt appreciative there. So yeah, it was my favourite one so far out of the 3.
So then we moved on to track 4, which is called Yours. A really interesting start. I thought, okay, so far so good. I thought, okay, this is surely going to, I've used created my own word here, going to metal up. This was almost like a metal ballad. So it was light metal, but I appreciate the difference in style. And I thought, it's actually a decent song for the most part. Definitely one of the better songs on there.
Yeah, totally agree with that one. I think now looking down the list, this probably could have been my favourite one on the album. Being a little bit different. I think I've got another one that I've put a sort of smiley face to, but this there at least is that little bit different. In hindsight, could be considered the sort of, as I would call it, the experimental song on the album, because we didn't really have anything like this a little bit later on. And like you, I also thought it was gonna metal up, if you don't mind me using the word there. But yeah, really good sort of feel to it, and glad to have it on the album. And it's nice to sort of in the middle to break things up from there. It's a shame that we didn't, not to spoil the rest of the album, get that little bit again later on.
Okay. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, so the next track then was All the Devils Are Here. Now this was like proper metal right from the off. Although the singing is quite good in this one, and another song with a good beat that makes it a bit head boppy. So yeah, parts of this I thought were quite good, and there's some decent instrumentals too.
Yeah, for head boppy right from the start. It felt like they had a sort of good tone to it, good tempo, really good singing again. I've here put again. I know for a band that I keep referring to Sabaton, but that sort of comparison going through from there had sort of that Sabaton kind of feel to it. Almost had a real sort of good feeling to it, even though there's like Devils in the title and obviously meant to be, as I said, didn't pick up on the lyrics. I couldn't imagine it was meant to be that much of a good feeling one. Almost like I put here like you can achieve anything by, you need sort of inspiration to do something, or your own hit list will sort of power you through from there. And again, it's still got this kind of sort of 80s vibe feel, which I really like. And then again, good sort of guitar work in between some of the songs as well. So yeah, it's definitely up there. It's definitely one of the better ones on the album.
Okay, so I listened to this album in two parts. So I listened to the first 5 songs yesterday, and then listened to the next 5 now. And I don't know whether that's had any sort of influence on why my thoughts are different for the last 5 songs. Maybe I think when I listened to it today, I was kind of quite tired and maybe wasn't in the mood for for listening to this kind of music. I don't know, but things kind of sort of went a bit downhill in these next 5 in general. So next track was The White. So this had a like what you said earlier, a very powerful chorus, but in a literal sense. Again, not literal not powerful in meaning, but it just felt very powerful. Not just this song, to be fair, pretty much all of it or most of them. I thought, Brett, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it's actually not bad though, and it was still kind of like a fairly soft metal song in a way.
Yeah, it's a real strange one, this one. I think this the same thing happens in these next few tracks as well, where like the chorus, as you know, really, really powerful, like, literal sense there, and it kind of sort of fluttered between the two. So like the verses part with the singing, really, really liked, and when it got to the chorus, yeah, full on sort of power metal rock on from there. And I just felt, yeah, it was just too much on those ones. So yeah, it's a shame. Like I said, some again good elements, good parts of the song I really quite enjoyed, but I said other parts which I didn't, which we're starting to get with these next couple of tracks really.
So track 7 was Instinct. This was very heavy metal instrumental. Had a very heavy metal instrumental start. I felt this was a bit more hardcore, only a bit. I just didn't like this one as much as some of the others, but it was still okay, listenable.
Yeah, so again, but very similar to the song with the track we just sort of had. Again, we had the sort of the verses, which I think were better, and then the chorus, really quite powerful sort of stuff from there. I don't know if you remember hearing this. So it had the sort of Russian kind of style bit of music towards the end, which again I thought quite liked to sort of grow up a little bit from there. It did grow me a little bit towards the end, but again, only on the bits of the songs that I did like, not the bits that I didn't like. So, like I said, quite similar to the White track previous. Definitely better songs on the album I preferred.
What exactly is Russian style music?
What's that?
What's Russian style music?
Without listening to it again at the time, that's I just put it. So a Russian sounding bit from the middle towards the end, kind of thing. I think maybe we'll go back and listen and find out more specifically about that. That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay, so track 8 was Heart of Darkness. That usual fast tempo going on, fast singing with this one. Very much power metal. I've described this one as. Is okay, but I prefer, again, some of the others.
Yes, again, like with the previous trailer, there's some really good elements I really liked from this, but then other bits which, and again, maybe it's because I listened to a lot of the album already, and maybe just time from those side of things, because I felt this one could have been another good sort of ballad song that we had previously, and it had those elements there. But then, like I said, it went to the power metal side of things, which is, I said, it's all fine, but I said it just, for me personally, not what I sort of enjoyed most out of it from there. So again, like the other ones, some really good, enjoyable bits from it, but then others that I didn't like, and the same then made me prefer the other songs that we've already had.
So track 9 was Achilles Heel. And this was like, I'm starting to get a headache at this point. I just need something softer. At that moment, I just needed something softer. It was just a little bit too much. Just a bit, I don't know, but hard to describe this song. It's like kind of epic intense. So it felt very intense, but somehow kind of epic as well. Like kind of like with, like with Nightwish when we've done that type of metal. There was, I don't know, epic, intense is how I've described it. But I just really didn't like this song. Maybe if this song had been earlier on in the album, I might have felt differently about it, because it's sort of been going on for quite a while. This sort of loud power music, just kind of got a bit tired of it.
Yeah, so I've put here sort of, again, had this sort of element of, could have been like a sort of ballad. It was a bit slower, it had something a bit different to it, but like I said, at the same time, still really intense, really powerful stuff, which again, the parts which I didn't mind, but I think, like you, I think at this point it'd be nice to have more of a sort of ballad. Not as ballad as track number 4, but at least something a bit more slow, a bit more something digestible in a way before we come to the end part of the album.
So the last track, Power of Now, again, it was another powerful song. And I've just put it's just too intense for me to enjoy, especially after, as there's been, one after another of, fairly similar music. There was a bit of variation, but ultimately, pretty much all the songs were, very powerful, which I suppose that's what it's supposed to be. But
yeah.
And if we're, sorry, I haven't gone on over to you yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't feel I can say much more different from there. This is where I got my sort of quote to say, well, how am I going to explain this album to Lee and the others, anyone else listening? That's where Power, and this sums it up from there. But again, like with some of the other tracks, there's some elements of it I really quite liked, quite enjoyed. But this, I think, was the most powerful one out of all the tracks from there. And I was kind of, against my own fault, kind of hoping and thinking for something. I thought maybe for the last track, after all this power stuff we've had, it was going to bring it down. We have a nice sort of little bit of a ballad kind of thing, real maybe emotional kind of. But no, this was power at its fullest. It's like turning up the notch to 11 out of 10. And I said, sort of sums up the album. I said, really good aspects of it I quite liked. At least it had something a bit different to it. It was slowed down in parts, but then we also had some real intense bits. And I said, it just was an overall thing for me. But I said there were bits I did like, so there is still stuff to take from it.
Yeah, I get what you mean about your introduction when you said, you wouldn't want to listen to a whole album of this again, but having a couple of songs on there on a playlist would be all right. I kind of agree with you with that one. And I think, if I was in a car and someone was playing this album, I think that'd be okay for me. It's not an album I would choose myself, but like I say, if someone was playing it or this type of music, it'd be okay. As long as if it's if it's a 10-hour car journey, it's 10 hours of this type of music, then no. But if it's in small doses, it's I wouldn't say enjoyable, but it's listenable. And I probably wouldn't moan about it, put it like that.
It's quite good for you, to be honest. You've come a long way, probably. From that there. Yeah, well, just add on to that, and I think, like I said, I think it's the best way I looked at where, there's parts of it I did like. I said, if I had the odd song here or there on the playlist, would enjoy it. And I think you have to be in sort of the right situation, the right mood to enjoy it as well. I think that sort of sitting down and trying to review it doesn't quite work in that sense. But I said the one, that was quite motivational. And I said if I was running or doing some sort of fitness related and hear the song, would absolutely love it, really enjoy it. And the same with the ballad. A bit more emotional, want to hear that part, then I'll enjoy that as well. So really good positives from it. But I said it's, as you just said there, would be an album to go back to rush to, but also liked elements of it.
Yeah. So thank you for the request, and we will see you again soon for the next one. Bye.